Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Editor podcast. It is quite a surreal morning. We've scored open goals. We've won 4-0. We've shut up a lot of the pundits. And as it stands, we are 7 points clear because we are recording on Sunday morning when we usually record on a Monday evening. And yes, I've done the one thing I promised myself I wouldn't do with my white shirt that I'm wearing of the away kit, and that is pouring a whole load of coffee down myself. So if you are watching on this on video, I can only apologise. Rory, how the hell are you doing?
I'm good. Was that a incident that happened?
Literally this coffee here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah. As long as I don't think the camera's picking it up that much, but I might have just admitted it. But I am known to be a mucky pug.
I'm good, man. I'm good. It is unusually early for us to record this, so I will see whether that affects our mood, our opinions,
Well,
our podcasting. So we'll see. No, it's good, mate. How you doing?
yeah, good. I mean, yeah, for those listening at home, obviously, normally we do our full day in the office on a Monday, and then we come in afterwards, and we are tired, but it's we've got full context of the weekend, what the scores have been, and things like that. Whereas now it's bright, bushy-tailed, 9 a.m. in the studio. No idea what's going to happen on the Sunday, so all of this could be completely wrong by the time we speak. But as it stands, we've had that palate cleanser, and I tell you what, I could not have enjoyed that game more yesterday. I think that's probably the most I've enjoyed a game compared to how badly I felt for a whole week leading up to a game.
Yeah.
I think ever, maybe.
Why?
I can't, just because last week was so low.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get into this a lot. And look, we will be getting into all things over the Leeds game and what we're looking at next and what perhaps could happen later on today. But last week, we've had that whole week of United pundits, United fans coming back, thinking they're back after, let me count, 2 wins. And it's been a dismal. I don't know about you, but it's been pretty dismal this week. I know we've had that Chirac game. But.
Yeah, I mean that was a nice leveler as well. I think the most important thing that came out of all this was the Arteta press conference, because I think that in a way every single player, fan, everyone surrounded with the club, whether you're a supporter or not, I think we needed a reset in a way, because I think the reaction of the loss last week was so extreme that everyone was just beginning to lose. It felt like everyone was losing the sense of enjoying exactly where we were, forgetting where we were, forgetting how far we'd come, particularly in terms of the 4 different competitions. And people treated it like it was the end of the world, and it was almost like we'd lost the league, and playing United against we were playing against United on the last day of the season. So for Mikel to come out and be like, "Look, we've got 4 months left. We're going to enjoy every single moment of this," I think was really important. And to be honest, it kind of put it in perspective for me as well, because I think that we were at the game, and leaving that game, and then literally turning the phones off. Not even turning no notifications on for WhatsApp or anything like that. It was pretty relentless in terms of the stuff you'd see on social media, stuff you'd see on media, even some of the BBC articles, even some of the stuff you hear from Sky Sports, whatever. It was coming at you from all angles.
Yeah.
So to have a bit of a week off was nice, and then for Arteta to come out in the press conference and say what he did, kind of just made everyone reset. And it will be interesting to see what happens in the next home game and how the crowd reacts. Because there's been so much about how, Arsenal, whether it's the fans making the players nervous or whether it's the players making the fans nervous, and you're getting into that sort of horrible cycle. It would be interesting to see how now, when we go to the Emirates, what the reaction is like if we do go a goal down or if we are 0-0 after 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So, in essence, it could have been, weirdly saying now, it could have been the best thing that may have happened to us all season, that loss.
I've heard some people direct that lot, and to be fair to people have said that during last week as well, not just after the game, where some people are maybe we needed a bit of a kick up the arse.
Yeah,
and do you know what? I think you're so right to point that out, and that is actually something I had in my notes as well. I think when everyone was going against the grain, I think everyone was starting to lose a little bit of faith. We've seen this story before. Opportunity to go 12 points clear in theory if we'd won 2 games in between. We drew 2, lost 1, and suddenly it's 4. And we felt the City before. I think and full credit to Villa, who are still there as well. And for Arteta really to come out with a really measured perspective, where and I have to say, I didn't expect that. I expected him a bit of a rallying cry, but I think I don't really. I think managers' words do obviously matter a lot. But sometimes it's hot air, and you kind of expect like it to be read off some kind of script, and you've heard it from managers before. And I have to say the reset of perspective was so, when we were going through that really hard time, despite being 4 points clear last week. Like, I do think that reset changed so much in the way we were speaking. Like, the WhatsApp groups were speaking. The full mood changed, and I actually, credit to him, the power of those words. Like, I can't imagine what that did for the dressing room. And obviously, hindsight, hindsight you see in 2020 vision, right? And we won the game ultimately, so you can look back at that moment. But we all said it at the time that it felt right, and I hopefully these players. I think I posted just before the game that I just love it if, and again I wouldn't have thought this if Arteta hadn't said it. But this game was about enjoying ourselves again and smiling on the pitch, and I think they did. I think they really did. I mean, I didn't
agree.
I certainly didn't feel that going into the first minute when Saka had been injured in the warm-up. All my nerves came flooding back.
We're kind of used to it now, though.
God, I know.
It's kind of, we're just kind of rolling with the punches. But I think it's funny because you look back upon a season, particularly one the way you've won the league, and there'll always be pivotal moments where it could have gone two ways, and it's normally a game. Well, 99% of the time it's a game within a season that changes the course of how that season goes. For me, I kind of feel like the press conference was as important as a statement win. Just from like a, as you say, a perspective, context sort of leveler, reset. Where hopefully it will just change the psyche of the fans going into the stadium, or just the mood around the club. And now I think actually we've seen so much nonsense from other people talking about Arsenal that I kind of feel like we're so battle hardened now as fans that I think there is now a very much a siege mentality, where I don't think there's ever been a team going for a title where everyone else around the club, like a non-supporter of Arsenal, has been so desperate for a team not to win the league ever.
Yeah.
It has from what we're seeing now, it feels like it's just unprecedented in terms of the level of desperation for Arsenal not to win the league.
It's crazy. Like, as in, and don't get me wrong, like I think there's a few reasons to it. I think the first reason is ultimately, obviously, rivalry is quite fun. Like, I think people like seeing other teams fail, and I think because we've come second a few times in a row, it's like a fun theme that people picked on. And I think even before that, people decided they hated Arteta very early. Yeah. It's quite like, he's a bit of a Mourinho figure, and I kind of like, you love him if you haven't, you probably hate him if you don't. But like, I do think he's been quite unfairly picked on, to be honest, like for things that are just a bit ridiculous. And I think part of that is, this is going to sound silly, but we basically, generally speaking, do really well in big games over the last 5 years. There was that stat until this season that no big team in the top 6 had beaten us in like 3 years. And I think that frustration clearly boils over with like other pundits and other fans of big clubs because they can't beat us. And now they obviously beat us in like cups and they've come above us in the league. Like, I'm not saying we're better than them or anything like it. I'm just saying that, like, literally, like factually, they just haven't been beating us in matches at their own grounds and things. That's changed a little bit this season. So I think there is that pent up frustration. People just don't like us because they haven't actually beaten us in games very often. And then there's like, you could call it set piece FC. You could like all that sort of stuff.
Goal FC.
All of that stuff. And I think all of this together feeds into this like we don't like Arsenal situation. And I think, do you know what? I actually think I will read this full thing out because I think it's worth it.
Hit me.
So do bear with me, but. Guillem Belag, I think is how you say it.
Yeah, Guillem Belag.
Guillem Belag, yeah, it's the Spanish, obviously, pundit and journalist. Probably a better way of phrasing it than pundit, 'cause he's definitely a very, very strong journalist. I think it was really important context that he posted about the way Arsenal are seen in Europe versus this very, very narrow Sky Sports led opinion of Arsenal, which is just so boring, to be honest.
And dominates the UK fan base mentality towards a certain topic or club or subject.
But listen to this. So he goes, look, let me offer a bigger picture on Arsenal. So the ones you hear across Europe. Arsenal are not seen here as a team that has stalled. They are seen as a reference point for the whole of Europe. So as the team, many look at trying to understand where elite football is heading. The game has shifted. It is no longer enough to dominate the ball or to attack well. The top sides now compete in and often decide matches through the 4 phases of play that make teams excellent. Organised attack, attacking transition, defensive transition, and structured defence. At the highest level, those phases matter more than possession percentages or aesthetic debate. So this is where Arsenal stand out. Under Arteta, Arsenal control space, time, and another very important element, rhythm. They are aggressive without being chaotic, but they can create chaos to find gaps. They are compact without being passive. Their pressing is prepared in every detail, lose the ball, and the reaction is immediate. The opponent is denied any oxygen. Across Europe, this is understood as the modern dominance. So, and then there is a lot more, but he's basically saying that like this is not the view of the rest of Europe. Like this is, and let me tell you, we, from all you want to say about, lack of like creation or anything in the Premier League, we have scored the most amount of goals in the Champions League, conceded the least. We scored 3 Inter away, 3 Bayern at home, 4 Atletico at home. Like this is not a team that struggles to score goals. This is a team that, much like many other teams, has struggles against low blocks, which is what we're seeing every week in the Premier League. And that is how I would set up to play against Arsenal, because I think they do struggle against low blocks, but I think every team does. Man City have struggled against low blocks. Liverpool really struggle against low blocks. And the one way you break open a game when it's so compact and there is 10 bodies in that penalty area at any given time and you're trying to dominate and you're trying to get in, is ricochets off one of those players that can either lead to a corner, and loads of them, or own goals. And what happens from those corners? I think our conversion rate of corners is actually not that great. We just get so many of them because the box is so compact in Premier League, and that is how you open and break open these games where then, look at Leeds yesterday. To be fair, we're coming at us, but ultimately when we were playing against them, they were so they're in their box for a long time. I think we had about 6-7 corners before we finally scored off one, but it's the way teams play against us that really stifles games, and that's absolutely credit to them, because that's how I would do it, right? So it is such a myth, and I just think this kind of face of how it's pictured and the narrative of it is so like boring and just like
it's lazy
and lazy is absolutely the word, and then that becomes the first thing you hear in the office, because you only watch your own team, so your opinions are built from and we're guilty of that for the likes of Chelsea and the likes of United, because we just have that from the BBC or Sky, because I don't watch their games, I mean, I don't have time for it, so and it does, and it is like so annoying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you know what I find? I felt like against Kairat and against Leeds yesterday, I felt like we played a lot faster through the lines.
Yeah.
We did that against United, but it wasn't very effective because we would get to the edge of the box playing against United and then we'd just slow everything down. But I felt like we were really trying to push for that through ball through the last line of defence. We saw that with the Gyokeres goal against Kairat.
Yeah.
Literally, Havertz through the line. No, it was 2 passes through lines, then Havertz passed it to Gyokeres, and then he was through. And I think that I feel like there's been a shift in mentality. It's a very small sample size.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're a lot faster going through in our attacks, and we're a lot more direct, and just more aggressive. And it kind of felt like taking Odegaard out of the team was a big moment, obviously.
Yes.
Not just because from a captain point of view, but from a stylistic point of view. So it will be interesting to see what the lineup is against Chelsea midweek. But we've spoken about Gyokeres and Havertz many, many times playing together.
Yeah.
And same with Jesus. We did a post back in October.
The infamous
could
Henry Bergkamp.
Gyokeres or Havertz be the new Bergkamp and Henry? Which people,
stylistically,
which people took a little out of context.
Stylistically, not meteoric success side. Yeah.
For clarity, we are not saying that Havertz and Gyokeres are the same technically as Bergkamp and Henry, sadly. But what I'm saying is that Bergkamp and Henry played very similar ways from a tactical perspective to Gyokeres and Havertz. Gyokeres obviously leading the line, trying to run it behind the defence.
Yeah.
Havertz playing the Bergkamp role, dropping in behind and playing through balls. But ultimately and crucially...
It's a hell of a headline, isn't it?
taking pressure or taking a man away from Gyokeres. So Gyokeres no longer is marked by 2 or 3 players. He is marked by 1 fewer because Havertz is trying to take one away from that back line, which he then can play through balls in behind. So it's going to be super interesting to see how that combination develops, how that relationship forms. The signs are really encouraging, but it's something that we've been wanting to see for a while, and I'm glad we're seeing it.
Yeah,
it's just a case of whether he'll stick with it now.
I think on your point about the speeding up of the game, I absolutely noticed that. Like, I think in the first 10 minutes we were on the WhatsApp group, like saying, I don't think anything was happening. I think we were kind of fumbling a few opportunities, but it's the first 10 minutes of the game. I think you can tell the difference in direction and the risks that we were taking, the speed in which we were getting up. I think Havertz was a big part of that, but I also think just maybe there was a message from the manager. You can usually tell what the message of the manager is from the first 10 minutes of the first half and the second half, because that's still ringing in their ears really from the team talk. So, and it was interesting what Arteta was saying in the week just on that as well. Was he was also, I think it was almost like the lack of risk taking didn't really seem to be instruction from the manager. It seemed to be maybe from the players, and like it did seem like I think there was a few opportunities like Havertz was finding himself in between the lines loads, and then Gyokeres was making runs, and we'll get onto his performance I think in more detail. But I think there was a point where we had a free kick in our own half, and Gabriel just like does like a through ball sort of between the lines to Havertz, and he's running at the defence, and it's like, yeah, wow, I've not seen this in a long time. And to be fair, I also think what I think partly played in that is that I think Leeds they're a very high energy and really brave team, and they did come at us quite a bit, and I think there was a bit more space to play with, but that zip was back, and I think that was great, and I'd love to see that at home. And Havertz and Gyokeres, I mean, my only note on here is that Havertz is world of difference.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was like, I've used this analogy so many times, but I feel like I had a blocked nose and I could breathe again for the first time. He's just sensational. I've never really enjoyed him being in midfield that often, I have to say. I much prefer him at 9. But there was balance back in the team. Like, he's a runner and he's very strong. And he won the midfield battle because he's very physical, as is Gyokeres. Whereas Ødegaard, if he takes a kick early, he can, wince a bit. But I think Ødegaard's role yesterday was great coming on when the game's opened up, right? So, and I think Gyokeres looked miles better for it as well.
Yeah, well, we've never seen Havertz play with someone up top in front of him, like a true number.
True,
like a true striker. We've never seen that before.
Absolutely right. Yeah, of course.
So
I hadn't considered that.
So it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. As I say, it's been 2 games, whatever it is, but the signs are good, man. The signs are good. The
defense.
Do you know what? Weirdly, I think that. It's going to sound crazy. I think Saka not being the team kind of helped us as well.
Well, I mean, obviously, like, do you remember the year Henry left? And actually, it kind of freed up the rest of the team because you needed that. There was the onus became on the rest of the team.
Yeah,
and I think at the beginning of the season, there was that whole conversation about the fact that we had Eze on the left, or in theory, had Eze on the left, and Saka on the right and Gyokeres holding people. The space for the wingers is going to be way more, and we'll share the load. And we didn't. And then somewhere in the middle of the season, we started defaulting to the right side again. That was just Saka to give it Saka hope for the best. And I think we kind of tied him out. I think our defenders, picked up on that and doubled up on him. And I think when you do have your talismanic player out, I just think generally as a defence, like you spread your focus slightly more, and that means there's, I guess, because like
from attack.
No, from the other side.
From their side.
From their side. So
because they don't know where to double up on.
Yeah. And like, because the talismanic player's off, so, and I guess the onus becomes on the rest of the team. So whilst obviously we're a better team with Saka, and obviously, like, he's one of our best players, and I know he's not in the best patch of goal scoring form, but I think he's been excellent otherwise. And Yeah, I mean, were we a better team without him? I mean, both. If you told me at the beginning of the season that like we're going to be winning 4-0 without Saka and Odegaard in the team, like, yeah, I would have been completely baffled. But yeah, for an individual game, but I'm not confident going forward. We'll be better without Saka, obviously. But,
No,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Of course not.
I completely get what
But
you
it's
mean.
interesting to see because I think just think about it now. We would always play through. Odegaard would conduct most of the attacks.
Yeah.
Odegaard will come deeper to drop to try and. Well, it seems like now he's currently trying to play himself back into form, and by doing that, he's coming deeper to get more touches on the ball.
Just on that, you know, Arteta was asked about this. Did you hear this? And he long story short, he basically said that that's not instruction. That's Odegaard wanting to get himself into the game.
But that's
so interesting.
But
isn't
it's I completely see why he's doing it because he wants to, as you say, just get a touch of the ball and play himself back into form. And the only way he's going to be doing that is by being involved as much as possible. But that is to the detriment of our attack because you want your most creative player being as close to the striker as possible. But because he is so aligned to that right-hand side, he is. Like, that's his... It's always... Whenever we line up, it's always Zubimendi in the middle, Rice on the left-hand side, Odegaard on the right-hand side. But it seems like every single attack we have, players will always try and find Odegaard to be the creative link, but he's so focused on that right-hand side.
Yeah.
Naturally, he's always going to look for Saka. You take that out, you take him, or take both of those players out, it's a bit more spread, and the focus can not only just go on the right-hand side, it can go through the middle and actually look for the through balls through to Gyokeres or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a weird... because, as I say, it's like muscle memory. We're so used to doing that because the past 3 seasons, it's always been Ben White, Odegaard, and Saka on that right-hand side, and that's where the most success has come from, leading to goals or whatever. So having Timber now replace Ben White, where Timber likes to come inside when Saka's got the ball on the edge or down that right hand side near their penalty box. Timber always make the run inside, as opposed to Ben White making the run outside, which kind of, for Timber going inside, it forces Saka to go and hug the ball and cross it more. Yeah, and maybe that's why we're seeing more of a drop off in terms of his stats for goals in particular. But yeah, with Odegaard now being potentially left out of the team for a bit, because I don't see why Arteta would change it for Chelsea.
Genuinely, I don't think there's a problem with... I think the last time we saw really good Odegaard like form was that patch where... I don't want to say the word drop because I don't think that. I think it's just giving him an opportunity to play himself back into form from the bench. So coming off and in games and when tired legs, and you can kind of play yourself back into form. And then he was we forget he was brilliant earlier in the season. So and I don't think it's a problem to do the same again. Like you say, just let him sit on the bench for a bit, come on these kind of games, make a difference when it's opening up a bit. Yeah. Brilliant. Like, he's a world-class player in there, and we can, if that's the way we can find him, and we're letting Havertz play in between, then that's great. And I guess the other thing is we need to be careful of Havertz because he has just come back from a year off.
It was interesting to see the ball that he played through to Jesus yesterday was on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's a floater.
Yeah, well, he is.
He's a floater.
But I'd love to see him play on the left and see how he can like ignite that left-hand side, and then have potential, because we played Eze and Odegaard. They came on as subs to kill the game when it was more open, which is perfect. Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting one because maybe Arteta is now thinking, well, I can start Havertz in midfield for not only to play closer to Gyokeres, but also you've got the height from corners and all that. Yeah. So you try and break open teams, especially away from home, through set pieces or crosses or whatever. And then, as you say, when the game opens up, you've then got the option of Eze and Odegaard to come off the bench and then be as creative as they want and kill the game. You
are right. I mean, what I do find interesting is that, we talked about this before, but Arteta, for some reason, like that, the right 8 and the left 8, he seems to be so wedded to what those, specifically on the left side and specifically on the right side, need to be. Like, if you actually look at all the left-hand side 8s we've had and all the rights, which is like Xhaka, Rice.
Yeah, it's clear as day.
It's like you need this, like, I don't know, like built, strong. I don't think very creative.
Marino.
Marino. Like, Marino. Like, Whereas the right-hand side is that Ødegaard, is that Eze. And I've no idea. I'm not clever enough to know why that is, because it makes no sense to me that you wouldn't swap those, at least from time to time.
Yeah.
Or at least have, we've talked
Someone
about
in the
having-
middle.
Yeah, like, and I've said it for ages that I think I'd love to see Declan Rice on that right side way more. I think if you actually think of all the great moments of Declan Rice, they're pretty much from that side.
I completely agree.
And it's natural for someone like Eze to be on that side, and I think there's some brilliant Ødegaard moments coming in from that side because his floaty crosses,
Well, exactly.
From that side aren't great, but from the other side, I'm looking at that Luton goal last year. I'm thinking, it's like, anyway, it's food for thoughts, but we ultimately, I don't want to pick too many holes in it.
No, I
They're
think
really,
I
really
think
good
I think the most important thing to take away from what's happened is that we are open to being tactically flexible, which I think is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I mean, we can talk about the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
What would you do for it in terms of lineups? Where would you go?
Well, is Marino injured?
Let's assume he is,
Marino injury. Let's have a look.
because he wasn't in the squad, was he?
No, he wasn't. Look, I would be. I want to win this game.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think you've got to go for it.
I think I don't see a problem with playing. I'd rest Timber.
Okay, let's start from the back. Would you start Kepa?
I don't think you can't not start Kepa.
No, I agree. I think that would be a blow to him. It'd be unfair to him.
It would be unfair to him, but to be honest, he was a bit shaky. I would if I was Arteta, I would start Raya, but I don't think he will. So let's say it's Kepa. I would go Ben White. I'd go Saliba, Gabriel. I'd go Calafiori because he's back.
Yeah,
I think we need to play him back.
Not MLS.
Maybe, but I think Calafiori is going to be more important to get back fit. So maybe we bring Calafiori on.
It's going to be
a blow
heavy.
to Malice.
No, well, not only that, it's going to be a heavy game in terms of physicality.
Oh yeah, they're going to kick, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're so violent.
So I don't think it's the best game for a
maybe
striker,
not
a player to come back.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. Let's go Miles then. I then go Norgard. I think he's a great player. I think
Well,
he
they're
played
saying that
really well.
It would be Esteval versus Lewis Kelly.
I think Esteval's.
Is he injured?
I think he's had a bereavement.
Oh.
And I don't know if he will be the game. Yeah, he's got personal reasons. He's gone back to Brazil.
It's a shame.
So that's sad for him.
He's sensational to watch.
I think he's going to be the next best player, like in the Premier League. I think he's going to be ridiculous, and I think he's only going to get better. Looking forward to see who they sell him to in a year's time. So I know. I mean, So I'd love to start. I think Norgard's a brilliant player, and I want to see him play.
Yes, free Christian Norgard.
Free Christian Norgard.
It's hard.
Yeah,
but I think
he's a Brentford captain.
He's so good.
He's brilliant. He was brilliant. He was so good against Kairat. And look, I know it's Kairat, obviously all the caveats, but I'd be starting Norgard. I would start Eze.
Yeah.
I would start. I don't want to see Zubimendi anywhere near that starting lineup. But I kind of think if Marino's free, I'd also put him in there.
I think he would. And I'd quite like to see it because after the Enzo altercation at the end of the last game.
Oh, I know, but
that would be quite spicy and feisty.
I think we've got to win this game. We've got to win this game. So anyway, and then I'd be going. Christ, who are we going? I mean, Martinelli. I want to see that because I think they're going to try and come at us quite a lot.
So who's your midfield?
Norgard, Eze.
Ødegaard? Was that too attacking?
He won't do that, but I think we probably should do something like that.
I reckon Rice will play.
I think he will as well. He's looking a bit. I think he was brilliant yesterday, but the one comment that really worried me. Did you see the interview? He was like, he's the fifth youngest player to reach 300 appearances in the Premier League. He's 27. And he was asked, how do you feel? He's like, I feel 47.
Really?
And that worried me. I was like, oh, he needs a rest.
Yeah.
And, I think lessons learned over the last few weeks of prioritising rotation. Yes, we need to win this game. Yes, we need to get to the League Cup final. I think that's really important, particularly as we're 1-up. But that Sunderland game is looking more and more important by the minute, particularly because Liverpool play City next week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I know we're going through the team. We're kind of slogging this a little bit, but like I actually don't quite know what I'll do at this point because I think the importance of the game is really high, but equally we do need to rest players for that Sunderland game because they are high energy.
Yeah.
And they're coming to the Emirates. I don't know. Is that a Sunday game?
I think he will go strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
I think
Sunderland game's Saturday.
Jesus will start.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Well, I think just because Gyokeres start this weekend, and I think that they've been rotating a bit. I don't think Havertz will start. I think purely just because of load. I think he'll come on. I don't think Noni will start.
See, I think he'll go stronger against Chelsea than he will Sunderland. I really do. At home to Sunderland.
Yeah.
Who they've had with Sunderland. Yeah, they lost against West Ham last game away. It's going to be interesting. I think that I can just see Arteta. Famously, he will go. He likes to go when we get to like the semi-finals of competition. Thinking about like the Europa League 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he went super strong.
But
even though we didn't really need to.
Yeah.
Or we did if we were obviously going to try and win the Europa League, but we were chasing for the title, and that's where Saliba got injured. I think he will go basically full strength. I think he'll do minimal changes compared to the Leeds game, but will have Kepa in goal.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't be surprised to see the same tactic he used in terms of going for strength and pragmatism, and then if the game opens up, bringing on more flair players to control the game who are better on the ball. But it depends. We'll see. I mean,
do you think there's a chance he brings Mosquera back in?
No, I don't think so.
The bench yesterday was Kepa, Calafiori, Eze, Martinelli, Mosquera, Norgard, Ben White, Gabriel Jesus, and Ødegaard. I think there's a scenario where all of those people play.
Yeah.
Because that's a good starting team.
Yeah, no, there is.
And I think that's probably why there was some rotation this weekend.
It's a great problem to have.
It's a great problem to have, and gun to your head, right? For those listening at home, I don't actually have a gun. It's metaphorical.
Yeah. Get that thing with me.
Yeah. Because look, the rotation I think was a bit of a problem last time, and we ended up losing against United. We ended up drawing against Forest, right? And I think we all looked at the League Cup, we looked at the Champions League against Inter, and we're like, why didn't we rotate? And hindsight's a great thing. Obviously, we don't have hindsight yet because we had in Sunderland and the Chelsea game haven't happened. Gun to your head, what do you want to go full strength?
Yes.
Okay, so we can't hold it. If we do lose both games or drop points and go out, whatever, against Sunderland or whatever, we can't now look back on this podcast and say that we disagreed with a strong lineup.
No, I think
so.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we probably would if we drop points or anything.
But we played a really strong team against Chelsea in the first leg.
Yeah.
If we're not going for it at this point in the season for this cup, what's the point even trotting out Rice or Zubimendi or whatever? The whole thing would have been completely wasted.
I agree.
So we may as well commit to it. If we're going to commit to winning the League Cup, we may as well fully commit to it.
Do Liverpool have a midweek game?
I don't.
They don't. They do not. So they have a whole week until next Sunday.
Yeah.
So 8 days rest.
And they look good.
They look really good.
Yesterday.
I'll tell you what. Why didn't we get Ekatike, man?
I don't think we were ever in for him.
No, but that's my question.
No, and also people forget that he cost way more than Gyokeres.
Oh, I mean, Gyokeres was a £50 million signing.
Yeah.
And at the moment, he's looking like it.
Well, saying that, he's scored in his last 6 games, he's scored 4 and assisted
50 million. Yeah, but that's $50 million is a good player. I don't think, what are your thoughts on Gyokeres? Because I basically think he was great yesterday. Don't get me wrong. I still think he's clunky. I think he should have scored that 1-on-1. I think that's what we really brought him here for, and he's got another time that he's let a player catch up with him. But credit to him, was strong. I think he's learning more about the Premier League. I think he's feisty. I don't think he's ever going to be world class. I don't think he's ever going to long term lead the line for us. But I think he's an absolutely useful player in the squad. And I'll eat my own words from the last few weeks when I'm saying he should be dropped and from the squad. To be honest, that's what I was feeling, and I don't think he'll ever be what I think we thought he would be. I don't think, but he's really, really. His smiles there, the goal against Kairat, the goal against Inter, the goal yesterday. He's not looking like he's embarrassed to be part of this team anymore.
Yeah.
You know, when like Raya was first here and he was all a bit like, should I be here? I think he's really, really starting to feel like he's part of the group.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so important to him because he looks like a confidence player.
Yeah, for sure. He's so divisive, and it's just the amount of scrutiny that's been on him this season has been crazy.
Yeah,
like, crazy. And we are also guilty of. Well, we talk about him a lot. He's probably our most talked about player on this podcast. But I think, the stats coming out of Portugal were obviously deceptive in terms of how the difference of the league was very clearly on show between the Premier League and the Portuguese league. But I think we've just got, as you say, we've just got to lean into the fact that he is not the most technically gifted person. He's not he's not going to fashion too many chances for himself.
No.
But having someone play off him, like a Havertz or a Jesus, is only going to help him.
100%.
So now that, and also having the ability to rest him when you've got Havertz and Jesus fit is crucial. And maybe even the transfer talk of Alvarez potentially coming in the summer has also put a rocket up his arse.
He would talk about missing piece.
Yeah, he'd be sensational. But again, a completely different player to Gyokeres.
I think he'd be a Jesus replacement.
He would be.
I think Jesus will go in the summer.
No, I agree. But it's a fact, like when you combine all those things together, you know, as I say, you just got to lean at the fact that he's going to do a job which is just to get on the end of things, as opposed to linking up play or doing playing tiki-taka football.
And he was holding up play really well yesterday.
I think he's getting better at his just like identifying what his job is, which is getting across the man in defence when the ball comes across, either on the floor or on the air, and just getting any body part you can onto it. Because we cross. As a team, we cross so much.
I know.
So much.
I think, and the reason is it's really, you know, the teams block central spaces, you know, ultimately. So it's hard. You know, we do have to go wide, and you know, our game plan is to get wingers one-on-one. So it makes sense. So yeah, he's really learning him. He's a bit of a Goldilocks player in the sense I think we need to play to him. But if you're going to have a Gyokeres on the pitch, you may as well play to his style. And
I think we're finally figuring it out. As I say, playing with the man near him, playing faster through the lines, not concentrating all our attacks down the wings, that's only going to suit him.
And I think, and he looks best. If I think about the best Gyokeres performances, they've all come after a bit of a rest.
Yeah,
his physicality is his superpower, and without it, he's basically got nothing, and that's fine because that's, you know, you can say that about a lot of players, and a lot of their skills, right? Without X, they wouldn't be what they are, and I basically don't think. Without his physicality, he isn't much, but he has that physicality. And if he was a battering ram against Leeds, he was properly all over the place. Sometimes they were giving him the fouls, but he was shoulder to shoulder. It was annoying that last chance against United to make it 3-3 after he battered, was it Martinez, I think, out the way, and then somehow instead of a short pass to Saka managed to kick it out of play. But but I think that's again, that physicality, and maybe later on in the games, I think it's going to be really, really big.
But because he's now scoring as well, you'd like to think
he's on a really good run.
Yeah, I know. You'd like to think that maybe he's not as desperate to score every game, which means that he's not forcing stuff as much.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He's now being able to think about, because I think maybe I don't know, because I'm obviously sadly not a professional footballer, but
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Still hope. 33 years old. But when you're so desperate to score during a game. You're kind of, I imagine it would be very easy to forget the basics of, you know, positioning or whatever, because you're just so desperate to get the ball at the back of the net. So you're like, your coolness in front of goal, all that kind of thing. Yeah, it just kind of gets muddied in your head. So hopefully, you know, now he's scoring goals and feeling confident that, you know, things will become a lot clearer. Yeah.
A confident Gyokeres is going to be. I mean, ultimately, if there's a player that scored 50 goals last season, get that guy confident, he's going to score. And he's on track for like 15, 20 goals, which is basically a decent return.
People forget how hard the Premier League is.
No, I know. Particularly
for your first year.
Yeah.
I know that he's come from English football and he's played the Championship. It's obviously different, the speed of the game, the level of defenders and all that. But, he the signs are slowly beginning to be encouraging.
Hey, imagine
So
if we can get that player confident going into the final 10.
Yeah.
We have 10 minutes left of this podcast, and we haven't even spoken about Noni Madueke.
Yeah.
We talked about Saka injury, which was a dagger to the heart, quite frankly. Yeah. And Noni's had a tough couple of games. I've never seen a player so comfortably beat someone one-on-one and then do nothing afterwards, right? I think the last couple of games against United and Kairat, there was a few times where I quite literally think Rose Ed was not just reached, but it was like surpassed with a few things. And he was brilliant yesterday. The magic touch of the whipping of the cross, all of his corners, the crossing, beating a player, first touch. I think he was every bit the player and every bit worth the 60 million or whatever it was we spent on him for that day yesterday. But
for him, a player like him, I don't mind the fact that he will balloon it or his end product sometimes isn't fantastic, but it's the fact that he keeps coming back.
He doesn't
trying it, which is exactly why we signed him. Because there aren't many players in the Premier League who can beat a man, as you say, as easily as that, but then produce a moment of magic which will change a game.
Yeah.
But the fact is that has to come from volume, because if he married up unbelievable end product with his ability to beat a man, he'd be one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Which he's not. So it's fine.
Could be.
Yeah, it could be. But but I don't mind that, because as long as he keeps trying and doesn't get dissuaded from trying it because he's had a few bad passes or his through balls are a bit too long and they go straight out of play, I don't care, because when it does come off,
Bruges.
When it does come off, it's potentially a goal.
Yeah.
So, it's frustrating, but we've got enough players in that team to produce more clear cut. Well, to produce potentially more safe opportunities, as opposed to him who likes to take a risk, which we've been calling out for a while.
So when a player does it,
yeah, you go back a few seasons, and players that want to take a risk, particularly in the Mikel Arteta control-based system, pretty rare.
Well, and on that, so yeah, I mean, like Noni, the message that was coming out of Arsenal when they signed it was that they believe they've got a winger that was about to explode. Every metric was pointing to that, and we are, days like yesterday will help that narrative. We don't have long, but I do want to ask you: are we the worst ever team to win the league if we win it?
Yeah, it depends who you ask.
Depends
who you ask.
It's so dumb.
According to the majority of the United player fan brigade, Legion brigades, Jesus. We were considered. We would be considered the worst team to ever win the league.
Did you see the BBC did a comparison of us versus the 2008 United team, which was insane, by the way. No Arsenal fan claimed that we would beat that 08 team. I actually think it would end up 0-0, but anyway. But they did a whole article on the BBC about clearly no team is. Anyway, fine. I get that argument, but it's one of them. The argument was so hot-headed that it actually got to the goal comparison, and at the same stage, we're actually scoring more goals than that team. But they went, but it doesn't count because they're not creating. And I was like, oh my god, here we go. But anyway, it's a very boring. That's the one thing I'm so bored of right now. Is would they be the worst? It's just because I think it comes from a point of hate, like you say. Really don't want us to win it. So by the time we do end up winning it, if we do, it's you weren't very good anyway. It was just lucky because whatever. I was like, it's so boring.
But I don't get it, because it's like last year or beginning of the year, everyone was like, well, if you don't win the league, then Arteta's got to go.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, you're winning the league, but you're playing really boring football.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't. And you've got people like quote. Who's called Mr. Rio Ferdinand saying,
"Oh my god, well,
Arsenal, you guys are so lucky. Everyone else is so shit and inconsistent."
But that happens every year.
Yeah.
Literally, do you not remember the Liverpool titles?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And then you've got Scholes saying again, if Arsenal win the league this year, this could be the worst team to win the league, and you're like, who cares? I couldn't give a fuck.
I couldn't care less.
Couldn't care.
Honestly, nothing would make me happier is if from the beginning of the season to the end of the season we won 1-0 off a Gabriel header corner every single game, just to boil piss.
To be honest, I remember we did. I mean, I remember talking last week when tensions were a little high. I saying that, it felt like we were getting towards. We felt like we were getting towards being a team where we were more like sometimes more focused on getting a corner as opposed to trying to fashion a decent shooting opportunity, which was annoying. But I think again after Mikel's rousing speech,
ran through a wall.
I kind of, I don't, as you say, I don't care how we win. I think it's now it's got to the point where it would be so dangerous to change the style of play at this point in the season.
Yeah.
Just to appease some United ex-player morons.
Yeah.
That it's just keep winning.
And, I know that it was a tough week, in terms of losing to United and then losing, and then even like conceding 2 to Cairo was a bit annoying, but, before Leeds, the last 2 games, we conceded 5 shots on target. They scored all of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not playing badly. That is an anomaly. That's not going to happen every game. And really, I don't... Like, United were really good in the sense I think they capitalised on their chances last week when we lost. But they weren't that great. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we were being dominated or they had the better of us. No, they just played really well on the break and they finished the chances. It's basically a bit of an anomaly. And I think they will be far, far better under Carrick. I think he's a great manager. But I think it was all a bit overblown, to say the least. They've had a really, really good week after 2 wins. Just almost like they won the World Cup, to be honest.
They need a humbling loss.
They do. And hopefully that'll come today. So we have 5 minutes left. Who's your man of the match?
Madueke, it's got to be. I think to come in that late and to make that much impact on the game was great, and also from the scrutiny that he's had in previous weeks from his creativity or his final end product not being as good as people wanted. I think he's shown everyone how much of an important role he's going to play in this team.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
Zubimendi.
Yeah.
I think we haven't touched upon him at all. Yeah. We don't have time. But I think his heading, I think his passing, obviously his goal. I think he needed that as well, particularly after the United game where he wasn't that great. Obviously, he gave away that chance, which is the only game I think I've seen him not great.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
I can't
believe how
I had
good
an
he is,
argument yesterday with a United fan, ironically, saying I said how he is the most underrated player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there's someone else who. He never gets any plaudits for coming into an Arteta team, playing the hardest role in an Arteta team, and making it look like he's been there for 7 years.
Ridiculous. In a new league. In
a new league, in a high-pressure situation, and he's been, apart from his one very uncharacteristic mistake against United, I mean, that happens 1 in a million.
Yeah.
Really, it really does.
He's phenomenal. I could not be more happy with that signing. It's just stupidly good upgrade.
Yeah.
I think it's the reason he doesn't get many plaudits is because of the type of role. Like, Rodri didn't get praises for a long time because he does score goals, but Rodri didn't get praised for a long time. Centre backs don't for a long time because it's one of those roles that you need to do it for a long time for people to wake up and realise. Because it's not like a goal scoring position. It's not like an electric position. But no, he's great. Glad we signed him. Dick of the day.
I mean, take your pick if we mentioned. Rio, just because I think he's it's amazing how he can show his face after that FIFA World Cup draw.
That's so embarrassing.
I've never seen anything like it, like ever on TV. It was just you just sat there, like almost got to the point where you're either turning it off or hiding behind your sofa because it's just like fair play to his agent for giving him the gig, but Jesus Christ, what if he's bottled that?
Yeah,
big time. Yeah, just boring, lazy narrative and just like predictable nonsense and just trying to stay relevant.
To be fair to him, I think he is just like really thick. Do you know what I mean? Like he is like, I don't know what's going on between those ears, but it's not much.
No,
good player in his day, but not a very intelligent man.
Yeah.
Let's go. My dick of the day, yeah, of course. I obviously not mine. I was at a friend's house watching the game on a Chinese stream.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but with English commentary, but Chinese text everywhere and stuff. I don't know who that commentator was, but I think he clearly never seen Arsenal play before.
Yeah.
And had heard that maybe read somewhere that we were nervous. I think I counted the word nervous about 1,000 times in the first
Really?
10 minutes. Oh my God. It was so relentlessly boring. He could not move away from that narrative. So,
English
commentator on a
commentator.
Chinese stream at my friend's house, definitely not my house. And
It was probably that Rich Keys.
no, it was it was
Famously,
someone
he's famously consistent on this podcast for being a dick of the day candidate.
Yes, he is up there.
A common dick of the day.
I might actually give it to myself for spilling coffee over me, but it's.
Nice.
But look, mate, it's a good week. There's so much going to happen between the next now and the next time that we speak and everyone at home hears. And we've got a big day of fixtures today. It's Spurs who got their annual. Do we even want to win this game against City opportunity, which they just sums them up as a club, to be honest. And then we've obviously got Liverpool playing City next week. We're playing Sunderland. We're playing Chelsea. Like it's potentially a very, 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 very big week of football.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm looking forward to it. Everyone at home, thank you so much for listening. I think we'll leave it there. That's bang on the half hour.
Love it.
And I'm looking forward to speaking next week. Rory, thanks so much.
Love it, mate.
Thanks very much, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.